gentlemen, it is early and it is cold. Is it really 7:30? No, it's not 7:30. I had to reset everything yesterday, so it is 61 degrees.
Next in the way.
All right, cold start. As I was saying, cold start. My alarm went off. That must mean it's 7:15. So yeah, another day, another 100 and something miles. It's gonna be great. Yeah, I did something monumentally stupid yesterday. Like, I can't believe it. Right after I said, "Oh, if you're doing this, make sure you don't do this," and then I did exactly what I said. Be careful not to do. Yeah, I was kind of in a hurry, and I wasn't thinking, and yeah, it's, there was a video I was watching a while back. It was about ladder safety, for like working on a project, and the guy said, the channel is called The Essential Craftsman. He's awesome. And he said, the single most important piece of safety equipment you have on any job site is your brain. Use it. And it's amazing how we don't do that so frequently. And so yeah, I made what could have been a pretty bad error while I was just installing this simple rat repellent thing in this car, and I accidentally touched the positive terminal to the I grounded out on the chassis of the vehicle with the vice grips that I was using. I mean, and it made one heck of a spark, let me tell you, fellers. And I didn't feel anything, like nothing bad happened to me. I thought I had fried my car. So it was, it was just one of those moments of like, oh, I was installing a $25 part and saving money by doing it myself, and then almost hurt myself and almost destroyed my car. So yeah, smooth move. When I started the car up, like once I got everything put back together, I started the car up. My HVAC system wasn't working at all, and like it was completely unresponsive. And then the VSC light was on, and it just said check VSC. I thought, oh great, probably gonna need a new like ECU or something. And luckily that wasn't the case. I think the car just kind of reset itself. But in any case, more later. So as I was talking about, my quick little job almost turned into a just complete disaster for me and for my car.
Go straight on for 6 minutes to
I-5
Golden State.
This guy always interrupts me. Yeah, so I was just saying, a quick job turns into, a massive job and a massive headache. I saw a meme, or maybe it was like one of those like novelty gift signs, and it said every job, every 15-minute job on your car is one broken bolt away from being 3 days, or something to that effect. I don't think I got it quite right, but man, so true. I mean, my little 10-minute rodent repellent install almost turned into a, several day. The car is toast. I fried, I could have fried so many things, including myself, and I just feel really fortunate that, I got, and that was cool. I should have really shown that on camera more. But there's a song that says, I've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So I'll let you fill in the blanks as to why I'm not showing that. But yeah, I mean, that really could have been unfortunate on a number of levels. So in hindsight, of course, like, I wish I had done things differently. And really with any kind of project, whether it be something you're doing on the car, something you're doing at your house or apartment or whatever it is, anything that involves tools and electricity and ladders, I mean, anything where you could hurt yourself, I think, like, the thing that we all need to remember, and I'm mainly talking to me here, because I'm sure most of you are, don't do stupid stuff. But I think, like, the rule of thumb is, like, don't be in a hurry. If you don't have time to do the job, don't do the job. And that's something I struggle with, because oftentimes there are things I just have to get done, and I have to squeeze it into that time frame. But in hindsight, I wish I had just kind of resigned myself to the fact that, like, okay, either come back and do this tomorrow, or or just take everything apart and do it right. Because eventually I had to take everything apart anyway. So I ended up having to slow down and do it right. The problem that I had yesterday is, I'm pretty sure, I'm about 98.675% sure that the positive battery terminal connector on my car is aftermarket, and it's garbage. Like, it's done. And the reason why, the first clue was that it wasn't a 10 millimeter nut. And I never quite figured out what size the nut was. I think it was actually a standard size and not a metric size. So, I bet you all the coffee at Starbucks that's probably not a Lexus part or Toyota part. And so in any case, what had happened, I guess over the years, it's been kind of forced on and forced off. And so the terminal connector, the part that kind of loops around the post, kind of got bent and misshapen. And so check out that Corvette, man. I'm sorry, it's for sale. Oh, man. What is that, a 68? Looks like a 68. Ooh. Oh, and that car is just a nightmare, but, oh, it's so pretty. Dang, I wish I had money to buy. In any case, so what happened was that the terminal connector was kind of misshapen, and so the nut that connects, or that tightens down on the post connector, was kind of like embedded into the part that wraps around the post, if that makes sense. So I couldn't actually get a wrench on it. There were not, there was not enough of the nut showing to actually get like a socket on it, or really much of anything. Like, so I really wasn't sure how I was going to get that loose. And, so I did what any, smart shade tree mechanic would do. Vice grips, like, come on. There was never a better tool for the job. Except the fact that vice grips are not insulated, number one, and number two, they're really long. And there's like a little beam, I guess you'd call it, that kind of ties the battery down, and so it's kind of like there's one for the little, it's like a battery bracket, I guess you'd call it, and so there's a 10 millimeter bolt that connects it basically to the core support in the front, and then the back half of it goes over the top of the battery in the middle, and then it connects to like a really long screw basically that pulls it down to like the battery tray. So like really good grounding point, and so that's running down the center of the battery on the top. And so while I was wrangling with my vice grips, I just happened to go a little bit too much to the right and made contact there. So I've been thinking a lot about the situation and like how I would do it differently, obviously in hindsight. So I mean, the first thing I should have done was just take that off. It was two 10 millimeter fasteners. So that would have been, it took a minute at the most, just with like regular hand tools. And so that would have basically avoided that problem altogether. The other thing I could have done, if I didn't want to go to that much length, I could have just put a rag over it, or two rags to be safe, That would have been great, very smart. Also, put a rag over the negative terminal. Again, doesn't take much time, and I had rags. I just, it's just getting back to that whole, like, you have to use your brain. Like, what's the worst that can happen here? What are the possible angles that could cause that? And like, I knew I was working with a tool that could have done it. Like, I knew better, but I just thought like, I'll be okay. I know not to do that. And I think a lot of us, like, we watch mechanics and we watch do-it-yourselfers, guys that are like really good at this stuff, and they don't take any of those precautions. Well, it's because they're, they do enough of it that they don't need to. So it's just, I don't know, I'm really frustrated that happened, but just a little common sense goes a long way, and it's amazing how often we don't use common sense. I was thinking about other times when like being in a hurry was really a problem. So like I was sorry about that. I actually needed to know where I was going, so I had to stop recording for a second. But yeah, like I was thinking about another time when kind of being in a hurry was, the wrong play. And, ended up costing me more money than anything I could have saved. And so one story comes to mind, and, huge shout out to my buddies, Joe, Peter, and Janellen from back in the day. Man, I'm sure none of you are watching, but still, if you are, much love for coming and helping me in my hour of stupidity. So I was a young man. I was probably about 20 years old. I had my 87 Corvette, and I mean, in several videos now, I've talked about the hot garbage that car was. But this was a case where I needed new fuel injectors, right? I mean, that was basically the big problem. Like, that car needed fuel injectors, and I was just a broke college student who shouldn't be driving a Corvette, and I couldn't afford the repair. Like, the injectors were, oh boy, I don't remember. I want to say they were probably like, $50 to $100 a piece. And we're talking like late 90s, early 2000s money. So, I mean, if you had to do 8 injectors at $100 a pop now, I mean, it'd be $800, and that would hurt. But like in the year 2000, that $800 was, that was a big $800, much bigger than it is now. I still wouldn't want to pay it. And then there was the labor associated with it. Like, I was thinking about doing it myself, but there were all these tools I was going to need to buy, because it's kind of a big job. Like in most cars, changing out the injectors is kind of not that big of a deal. They're usually pretty accessible. But for whatever reason, in that engine, and that was the L98, the 5.7 liter tune port V8, which made no power. It actually made a good amount of torque down low, so it was super fun. But it just, like, after 60 miles an hour, it just had no go. But so, it had, your basic standard kind of injectors that you would find on most cars nowadays, or maybe 10 years ago. I'm a little behind. But so in any case, I think what had happened is the O-rings had failed on a couple of the cylinders. And I think it was cylinder number 7. I don't know why that sticks in my head. And so I think I had taken it to a shop or someone. I just don't remember. But the car was misfiring. Like, it was just running like complete poop. And no power, lots of vibration, horrible gas mileage. There was just, if any of you have driven a car that's misfiring, it's, all the joy that car can bring you is gone. Like, I feel like a misfire, it just takes all the fun out of whatever you're driving. Like, it was a good car and now it's garbage. So that's how the Corvette was feeling. And of course, people wanted to race me and all this stuff because I was driving a Corvette. I really need this car. Oh, it's not this car, it's the other one. Why is the Subaru driving so slowly? So in any case, I think my mechanic or somebody said yeah, it's cylinder 7 was fouled, or the spark plug was fouled from too much gas. So we cleaned the spark plug and put it back in. And now it's fine, but it's probably going to do it again. And sure enough, car ran great. And then misfire came back, with a vengeance. And so, I didn't know anything. I wanted to work on cars. I wanted to fix stuff myself, in the worst way, but I just was not talented at it. I didn't grow up doing it. It was just not something that was part of my life experience, right? So I think I thought, okay, it's just cylinder 7. I don't know how to clean the spark plug, but I know how to buy a new one. So I think I went to AutoZone, like you do. And I bought, I think I just bought one AC Delco spark plug. And I will say AutoZone usually has those. And I think it was $5 or $6. I thought, oh, well, this is no big deal. I'll just pop a new spark plug in. It's going to be fine. So I came home from school. I was in college at the time. Came home, put the car in the driveway, popped the hood. I thought, this is great. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'll just yank it out, put the new spark plug in. I'll have all my power back. And if I have to do this once or twice a week, I don't care. No big deal. So, a couple things you need to know about the 87 Corvette. Aluminum heads, right? I believe in 85 and 86 it had cast iron heads, and then in 87 they switched to aluminum. And the car got a slight bump in power. I think they switched to roller rockers and aluminum heads, and maybe even an aluminum block. I don't think so. I think it was still a cast iron block. In any case, it was a boat anchor. It felt fast, but it was a boat anchor. At least compared to an LS1, LS2, even an LT1. But so anyway, it was on the driver's side. That's where the plug was. And I need to look at the firing order. But I think it was there were 4 cylinders on the driver's side. And I believe it was the second one from the firewall, if that makes sense. And So I yanked it out. Sure enough, it was fouled. Grabbed my new spark plug, and I just sent it home. And I sent it home. Oh, back. Oops. Whoa, hey, that's cool. Now I can do that. Let me try and unzoom this. Okay. Well, I guess that's not going to work. I need to drive. Hope you understand. But the spark plug is supposed to go in at a slight angle. Like, I wouldn't say 45 degrees. Maybe like 25, 30 degrees. Right? Maybe less. Not straight in. And I don't know why I thought that it should just go straight in. And so I thought it should go in basically at a 90-degree angle to the head, where it just goes like straight in. Oh yeah, so I got my angles wrong, sorry. So I thought it was 90, but it was probably more like 75 degrees or 60, something like that. I mean, definitely an angle there. And so I was just kind of tightening it, and I didn't get very far, maybe 1 or 2 turns, and it just kind of stopped. And then I took it out, and I tried to put it back in, and then my buddies came over, and I think we worked on that stupid thing till like almost midnight, and it started raining, and it was cold. We were out in my driveway just freezing, and getting soaked. And, I feel like it's moments like those when you kind of, you realize who your real buddies are. And guys, I still haven't forgotten that. I mean, that was probably 20, 21 years ago, and I still remember you doing that. And, I mean, that was, I hate to say it, we were unsuccessful. I mean, like, all of our efforts were in vain. Like, none of it mattered. I mean, we finally got to a point where it was just like, I think I was out of my AAA tows, so I couldn't really afford to have the car towed anywhere, or maybe I was just too stubborn to have it towed. I don't remember what the situation was, but I basically just told them, I was like, we just have to get this running so that I can get it to the shop, and so I think, like, maybe it was my friend Joe. I can't remember who did it, but I think they basically just like put the socket on it and just, cross-threaded the heck out of it so it wouldn't blow out. And just created some new threads. And I don't think we were able to get the spark plug in all the way. And I thought I was going to need new heads, and that was going to be like $1,500 or something crazy. It was just a devastating mistake. So again, I didn't have the time to do it. I didn't know how to do it. And really was a bad night. There was a lot of other stuff I should have been doing. I shouldn't have been wrenching on that car that day. And I knew it. And I got punished for it. So, the conclusion to that story, thankfully, was not as bad as you might think. I ended up taking the car to the repair shop I was going to. I think it was Great Hills Automotive. I don't know why I remember that. And they were able to do like a helicoil, and it was like $150. So it's not too bad. They were able to get the spark plug back in, and the car lived another day. Of course, that was just the beginning of many mechanical breakdowns. But at least that one wasn't too bad. Wow, I'm not happy about this traffic. I still have a long way to go and a short time to get there. And this was the section of road where I was, let's just say, hoping to make up some time and not lose time. So this is not good. I'm not panicking, of course, but hopefully this is just a momentary slowdown. In any case, like, have you guys ever done anything stupid? Comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. You know, and I'll, if I think of anything else that I've done, which, I mean, it's not like there aren't other things that I've done. It's just, I can't think of them right now. There are too many to remember. So, but I'm gonna keep on trucking here, and I will check in either later on this drive if I see something cool, or maybe at the conclusion of the day. But I really appreciate you all watching, and I'll check back soon. Well, folks, that's the end of the day. Thank you very much for tuning in. Just a little update. 20.7 on the tank. We had a lot of traffic on the way back today. 91 miles since refuel. Oh, that's not bad. I guess I didn't drive that much. 2 hours and 26 minutes of driving. Average 38 miles per hour. You can see that's gone down quite a bit. 176 miles of range. I'll probably have to fill up tomorrow. No surprise there. Yeah, it's a nice 72 degrees. Lovely. So in any case, thanks for listening to my stories about, the expensive repairs or the surprising repairs. And, hey, be careful out there. If you don't have time, maybe consider going to a shop. There are several things I wish I had done that with. I'm sure I'll share some more stories with you real soon. So anyway, have a great, whatever you're doing, morning, evening, night, whatever it is. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.